Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Daryl Talks Podcast. Today, we have got an episode that I've been looking forward to doing since I came up with the idea to start talking into microphones. We've got Andy Rance. He works at Livewire. He is the face of Livewire, I would say. And I want to hear about his life. So, without further ado, welcome, Andy.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. Thank you so much.
That's all right.
I can't believe how busy you still are.
Yeah, I think when I had my heart attack, everyone was saying you need to slow down, you need to slow down. And when you've got, I don't know, I'm on the autistic spectrum and I've got ADHD, so the whole notion of slowing down don't work for
So you're on like a tick list of
yeah,
like...
I've got all of them. You know, there's probably quite a few undiagnosed ones as well. That's cool.
Brilliant. So before we start, just want to go through some icebreaker questions.
Okay.
First question is, if you could have dinner or spend a day with 3 celebrities, dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to pick one that's a music one. And I'm going to pick Lemmy, only because I've met Lemmy quite a few times over the years. And he was just such a bundle of fun.
Be nice, nice to see him again.
Yeah. So Lemmy would be my first one. Ooh. I'd like to have lunch with Elon Musk so that I could tell him what I think about some of his politics of late, if I'm honest. But,
yeah?
Yeah.
Are you pro Elon or...
No, absolutely not. I think Elon needs to get his big trunk out of everyone else's business. and actually, do you know, I'm just going to take full advantage of this and say, rather than worrying about our politics and, I don't know, paedophiles in England, maybe Elon needs to worry about why there's so many photos of him with Epstein and Epstein's girlfriend, and does his name appear on the flight manifests? Get that released. You know, if he wants to do something really good, get that released.
No.
Leave us alone.
Well, I get it.
Yeah.
I do get
And
it.
leave Germany alone and all these other countries where he keeps prodding and trying to...
Just prodding.
Yeah, so he'd be my second one, but that probably wouldn't be a very pleasant...
Yeah, but I'm sure Lemmy would be on your side, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he...
Right,
yeah,
so that's 2 on 1 already.
I'm not going to say what I think Lemmy would say. It's undoubtedly a family show. Third one. Now, that's an interesting one. I'd like to have dinner with whoever it was that built the Sphinx in Egypt.
Nice.
And I'm not saying the Egyptians, because I happen to believe that Sphinx is probably considerably older than the pyramids and stuff. So
you think that was already there and they built...
Yeah. But then some people believe that the pyramids were already there and it was the ancient Egyptians that discovered them in the sand.
Really?
So, different theories.
You love a good conspiracy, don't you?
Yeah, I'm quite prone to some. Yeah. So
like tin hats. And
I'm not into the whole tin hat thing.
No.
You know, and I'll be honest, people kicking off over vaccine. Should you vax, shouldn't you? I don't know. And you've prompted me now, so I'm going to follow on with this one.
Of course.
I personally believe that UFOs exist. I don't necessarily believe they're aliens. I don't know. Could they be? I don't know. Could it be AI? Could it be people from the past? Could it be people from the future? Who knows? Do you know what I mean? I think there's enough science and enough evidence out there to go that there's some really weird shit going on that we don't know about.
It's got to be something.
Yeah.
I don't usually have an opinion on like a too strong an opinion.
No.
But for me to deny the fact that something we're the only people ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems statistically very odd and unique that
I think it's
we
so
are the only
highly
ones.
unlikely. I mean, I'm sure one of the podcasts I listen to, I'm sure somebody said that if you took all the grains of sand on the Earth out there, that's how many planets there are that are capable of supporting life. So we'd be pretty arrogant to think that, and is this the best that the universe can come up with us lot? Donald Trump.
Because, you know, like those times when you're walking along and you've just stood in dog shit
Yeah.
You think this is this is
And I mean, if there was alien life out there, why on earth would they come and, what on earth have we got to offer them?
Yeah. Other than resource, that's the only thing.
Which ties in with what a lot of people believe that,
Yeah.
I don't know, this is just Earth's just a mining site for stuff. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Big rabbit hole. I think I've been to the bottom of it.
I like the fact
times.
that we're maybe like a minute in and we've already ticked a couple of boxes on your want to talk to list.
I know. Mate, I know how to get my bit in.
Do you know what? I was going to ask you a third question.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like we should just get into it now.
Should we just get into it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nobody after that will want to know about what your go-to karaoke song is. So let's start at the beginning. Andy Rance, young boy. Where were you brought up?
I was some of this is a little bit heavy, so I'm going to be a bit sensitive. Okay?
No, that's okay.
I was born in Germany. My dad was in the army and he met my mother in Germany. They had me. When I was about 6 months old, I was literally Paddington Beared back to England. I was put on an RAF plane with a label, and apparently the police or the military got me the other end and dropped me off with my grandparents. So the very literal Paddington Bear there. I didn't have a great childhood, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I had a wonderful grandma and she was lovely and she was everything to me. She was my mum. She was everything. My granddad was pretty tough. He'd come out the other end of the war. His solution to everything was with his fists. And I don't know how deep you want me to go. I'll just talk, and if it's too heavy, then you can...
No, honestly, it's up to you.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I mean, in some ways, it's all part of why I do what I do now. But I had a horrendous childhood. If I cried, I'd be punched in the face until I stopped crying. You learn very quickly as a child.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And skipping forward a few years, my gran got cancer when I was 12, 13. I got put in care then.
Wow.
I ended up running away because I couldn't cope with it all, and I couldn't cope with, the violence at home. I used to bunk off school so people couldn't see the bruises and the kind of marks on the backs of my legs where I used to get whipped with a belt.
Yeah.
And I know people go, when I was a kid, you got cut round the ear and never did me any harm. Well, that works up to a point.
Absolutely.
But I remember being at my grand's funeral. One of my aunts, who was obviously my granddad's sister, came up to me. I was stood there with a social worker and she, finger in my face going, you horrible boy, don't you care? Because I was just stood there, stony faced.
Yeah.
As an adult, looking back, I could have said to her, yeah, and the reason I'm doing that is because your brother beat that emotion out of me.
Yeah.
But I didn't,
Yeah, so, no, I don't, like...
So that kind of,
Can't even imagine. But what did you... what were you into?
Well, this sounds... As I got into being a teenager...
Yeah.
I kind of... The whole kind of drugs and sex and anything that distracted my mind, if I'm honest. Yeah. I mean, as a younger child, I spent most of my life under a table or behind a sofa.
That's savage.
So, but it is what it is.
Of course.
Do I regret stuff? I've always said, if I had a normal childhood, did well at school and all of that sort of stuff, I wouldn't be doing this job now.
No.
To be honest. I like to think I'm pretty motivated.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be a millionaire by now. But,
yeah.
That's not the way.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that, in a completely backwards way, extremely grateful you went through that because of how many people you've helped.
Well, I mean, I regret nothing. It can sometimes take a lifetime to work through some of those issues. I remember when our first child was born, I was really, really emotional. But even then, that's like, I don't know, 40 years ago,
Yeah.
I still struggled to show any emotion.
Yeah, no, like it's eye-opening how.
Well, it's a bit like a dog, you can treat a dog appallingly, you can kick it, you can punch it, but it'll come back wagging its tail because it loves you. I love my granddad, despite everything.
Yeah.
All I knew.
Yeah. But then, like, so obviously the drugs and sex and yeah. So were you like a bit of a scrapper, or?
I was pretty bad when I was young.
Yeah.
I mean, when I met Julie, she kind of helped me kind of get that one out of the way.
No way.
Yeah, I was involved in all sorts of shit.
What was like, because you're no longer a heroin addict.
No.
Coming off of heroin isn't as straightforward as giving up smoking, is it?
No. And back then, and I'm talking sort of 1980, 81, the medical, the doctors and that weren't particularly interested. I remember I was in the police station. I was carrying a gun and some other things.
Why?
But I was in the police station, and one of the, they get a doctor to come in and check people out. And the doctor said to me, if you don't sort your shit out, you're going to be dead in 6 months, And Julie had said to me, you need to make a choice. You can have heroin or you can have me. You can't have both. And, embarrassingly, I had to think about that because,
the thing is, that's the position you're in.
And my whole circle of friends and everyone, that was the glue that held us all together.
Yeah.
So it was quite a big deal. But I'd gone round all the doctor's surgeries trying to get a doctor to take me on, and they wouldn't sign me up. I ended up embarrassingly going to the area health authority office, so I don't know what the equivalent would be in Plymouth.
Yeah.
And kind of kicking off in the reception. A bit like, the job centre, like, where's my gyro?
Yeah.
But I just needed someone to listen to me.
Yeah.
And anyway, they ordered a doctor to treat me, but the doctor just gave me these like placebo things, and I knew they were placebos because they didn't do anything.
Yeah, what heroin does.
So in the end, Julie pretty well locked me in a bedroom for a week, 2 weeks, and it was awful.
Kicked and screamed and...
Yeah. I pooed myself, weed myself, threw up, and came out at the end of it. And it took a while, but it was interesting. And I think, I talk to young people nowadays that I work with about drugs and things, but things are very different. I don't know stuff they take now on it.
Yeah.
Any of that. But I remember the first time we went to the pub after I'd kind of become clean. And all these friends, and I'd not seen them since before, I'd given up. And one of them, he said his name then, probably dead now anyway, but back then people used to buy boxes of matches, people will have lighters now, but back then, and he went, oh, Andy, you left your matchbox. And Julie grabbed it as it was sliding across the table before I got it, and there was a £10 wrap of heroin in there. And I realised then that actually the only thing I had in common with these people was heroin. And actually, if I wanted to really stay clean, I'd have to cut them all out, which is what I ended up having to do. And start again, really, with new friends and stuff.
Yeah, because it's the same with a lot of addictions, like alcohol abuse and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
If you hang around with people that all do it, very few of them are turning up at your funeral.
And I think, if you decide whether it's drugs or whether it's alcohol, if you make that decision that you're going to go clean or whatever, you shine a spotlight on these other people, right? Which is, I think, why they don't want to encourage you. I'm not talking to a young person within the last year who's been trying to, deal with alcohol addiction. I said to me, are your friends supportive? And he went, I don't know, they'll turn up, they'll buy me cans.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't want you to leave that circle.
I know. I think there's a couple of times in my teens where I've had to cut people off and call it a day because I've, for various reasons, one of them with cannabis.
Yeah.
And literally look back and think that was the best thing. I was so much stronger than I thought I was at the time.
Yeah. I think the thing is, you need to surround yourself with people that are good for you.
Yeah,
and hopefully
absolutely.
that you're good for them. But I don't know, how's a nice way of putting it? If we spend our time wallowing in shit, we end up smelling of it.
That's such a good, honestly.
And
I cannot wait to have that clip. That is fantastic.
The shit clip.
Yeah, the shit clip.
But it's the truth. I think we have a responsibility to ourselves to hang out with people that are good for us, that are going to bring positivity, light, etc. into our lives.
Yeah, it's breaking the cycle bit that's the hardest bit. Once you've done it, it's easy.
No, absolutely. And
yeah, I was speaking to somebody recently about like habits and how detrimental they can be to negative behavior as well as positive behavior.
Oh yeah.
But most people see habits as good habits, but trying to break the bad ones.
But even down to, and I don't know, certainly the last 8-9 years, I've focused a lot of my time around mental health and stuff, and I think you can get into the habit of being depressed. I think you can get into the habit of feeling anxious.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's loads of people, it's a genuine...
Yeah, it's a chemical imbalance, isn't it? It's scientifically.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of mental stuff in there, which is to do with the subconscious. And
if you wake up in the morning and you think it's going to be a shit day, chances are it's going to be a shit day. The theory I've always had is, and some people would say you're not being true to yourself, blah, 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 but I disagree. If I'm not feeling great, but I pretend to myself that I am happy, eventually I will feel happy.
Yeah.
If I give in to feeling depressed, I mean, I have terrible ups and downs, but I've learned how to kind of regulate a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think I am anyway. So I try and just be positive. I try.
Yeah. Because also those emotions are contagious.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think if you're feeling down, you're also bringing other people down.
Oh, no, totally.
And vice versa. If you're hanging around somebody who is very depressed, and you've got to be careful. Yeah. As much as you've got to be supportive, you have got to worry about yourself because it is contagious.
Well, and I think in a way, and I think some of the times when I've probably been my own worst enemy, I mean, I remember, am I going to go down there? Oh, yeah, anyway. I remember when we lost Ed, young man that used to come to Livewire, and that had the most devastating effect on me, on this place, obviously on his family and friends. But I remember the night that we announced that he'd gone, and I'd spoken to his mum and family, and, they had enough to be dealing with, so I said, I'll let people know, I'll do the announcement. I drove all round, I don't know, sort of like Plymouth and that, because some of them I wanted to tell in person. I didn't want to just ring them up and go, oh, listen, it's John.
Yeah.
But that was on a Wednesday, so we cancelled the junior club, which happened on a Wednesday, and we had about 150 of his friends all turn up, and they had tea candles, and they were all on the quay there, and I hugged every single one of them because I didn't know what to say to them. You can't go up to somebody and go,
what do you say?
Oh, it's all going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. So, I was hugging people. And I know some youth workers have an issue with hugging. I always do it very publicly. And I don't say, should we go around the corner and have a hug? We don't do that. But I just felt that was the only way I could show some sort of support to them. But when you do that, and this comes back to the taking on board things, what was that, about September, October time? Do by Christmas I felt so ill because I'd taken on all of these people's grief.
Yeah.
But I'd not found a way
To cope with it.
to offload it
Yeah.
myself. And I remember sitting on the end of the key. I was just checking in on him because, I spent a long time afterwards just trying to make sure all his friends were okay. And one of them went, "How are you?" And, I broke.
Yeah.
I was just talking about it.
Yeah.
Gets me a bit. But one of them said to me, "Don't think about the fact that, we've lost someone. Think about all the young people that haven't taken their lives, that are still here." I kind of think that for me, that was possibly one of the most pivotal, not pivotable. It's a new word.
Like that.
Moments in my life in terms of, I suppose, my direction. When I started doing youth work, kind of back in 1990, that was like the beginning of the journey. But I think when we lost Ed, it just turned everything up on end, and everything I kind of thought was just challenged.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And you could see that. Obviously, I haven't been to Livewire. We've just established about 17, 18 years. But it's always been there, because it was such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And following you on everything I possibly can to keep in touch, just in that small kind of way. Seeing the one day, it was almost overnight. There was a change in the atmosphere for Livewire.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, right, this has got to change?
I just think that losing Ed made me realise we make assumptions about people.
Oh, yeah.
I can look at you and go, Daryl's doing all right, he's happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in your head though, mate.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, the kid sat in the corner that's been really quiet. Are they okay? Okay, somebody said to me, "Are you okay?" And they've gone, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." But are they really? And whilst you don't want to be going around pestering people, going, "Are you sure you're definitely okay?
Yeah.
Are you really, really sure?" Of course you don't want to be doing that. But I think when that happened, I think Livewire's direction totally changed. I mean, we'd already just taken on a mental health worker. We've counselling, we've upped all of the staff here now, myself included. When you lot used to come here, we'd play pool. And, I don't know, all sorts of crazy going on in the venue, which was a sports hall.
Yeah, we were playing basketball and
with the police.
With the police, yeah.
But everything now is geared up towards kind of mental health. I've done loads of training, years, my skills. The T-shirts, the hoodies, the messages, the Facebook posts, it's all pretty much as a result of losing Ed. That all came about, which might make me sound a bit mental in some ways.
No, it really doesn't. And I think, if anything, you've paid such a homage. I don't know, is that the right word? Homage to the people it's benefited. Is you couldn't count. You can't quantify that change in success.
And at the end of the day, situations like this, you always end up beating yourself up. And I can remember afterwards thinking, because he'd kind of gone off the radar for 3 days or two or 3 days. And, I'd sent text messages to his phone. I'd sent messages onto social media. Only thing I didn't do is go and bang on his door. And if I'm honest, that's the one that, in the back of my mind, I still think, what if?
Yeah, it's a terrible way of thinking, but you can't help it, can you?
I know.
You cannot help it.
And, you have to carry on. You have to keep going. But I suppose it's kind of almost become my life's work now to just try and just make sure we don't lose another young person to suicide.
But I've been very fortunate. I have never been in that place where I have felt suicidal. However, I've been in a place where I can completely understand how you get there and how somebody can get to that place.
Absolutely.
And it's not about them being selfish. It's about not wanting to feel what they're feeling and not want to cope anymore.
I'm going to put my hand up and say I've had moments in my life where I felt suicidal. For me, the thought hasn't lodged in my head, though. It's kind of gone in that side and come out that side. And I think danger is it's when it lodges. Do you know what I mean?
Stuck in there and you...
Yeah. You know, because I bought a hoodie recently, a warning, when you buy clothes, make sure they're not coming from China. This hoodie, which is supposed to be an XL, is like, it's like a crop top on me.
I think everyone has suffered the Shein, the Temu wrath in sizes.
But this hoodie, it just says, you know, basically it's 100 reasons to stay alive. Back of it. Got bloody good eyesight to read them all because hundreds a lot.
Oh, then they're actually written?
Yeah.
No way.
Some of the training that it's called suicide assist, and it's how to support somebody that's suicidal, what to do. Since losing, I've had 3 occasions where I've had to kind of intervene in these things. But, you know, we talk about hooks to life. You know, what's that thing? What's that person? Do you know, who'd miss you? Getting them to think about all these things and other people. I know some people say, like, suicide is selfish. I absolutely disagree with that.
Yeah, me too.
But I also believe that for those left behind, I don't think they ever get over it. You know, the families, closest friends, I don't think they ever get over it.
No, there's always, because there's no closure.
Well, and we've all got these questions. I mean, I don't know. Do you know anyone that's ever?
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
Yeah. Might be somebody we joint know, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. You can't help but kind of go, well, you know.
Yeah.
If I'd rung them, you know, maybe we could have gone out for beer or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. And I know that an old friend who I used to come down Livewire with, he phoned me in work shortly afterwards and just said, "How are you? Sorry, we live 3 miles apart, but we haven't seen each other in years. Let's meet up. Let's have a beer." And he said, "This is the selfish bit." And I was like, "Yeah, I get it, but thank you ever so much for reaching out because
it's important.
It is important."
And I think at a time when services are so stretched for money, mental health services for young people, so they are for adults as well. But all of us, you, me, everyone else, we've all got circles of influence. If you go to the pub one night a week, if you're part of a football club or football team, I don't know, at work, wherever, there's groups of people that you know. And if we all just checked in on each other now and then, actually, I think we could probably make the world a much nicer place.
100%.
What does it cost you to go, Bob, I haven't seen Bob. Bob's been around for a while. I'm just going to check he's okay.
One of the best things about starting this podcast was reconnecting with people that I haven't spoken to since school.
Yeah.
Or that I used to play football with when I was little. And, you know, like coming back here, you're making connections and also part of
wearing white tracksuits.
Wearing white tracksuits.
Sorry.
No, we were talking before how I was remembered by Andy's lovely wife, Julie, that I did a photo shoot in an all white tracksuit sort of style thing. And it's nice to know that that's how I'm remembered.
The only thing missing, I don't think you had any gold chains.
I had silver chains.
Okay.
But I don't think they were in the photos. And that was like the best camera ever then. And
nice.
What was I? It must have been 16.
God.
That's 19 years ago.
Time flies, doesn't it? Was it last year we had our alumni event where we had bands coming back?
Yes.
Was that last year or the year before? That was crazy and mental. That was all people that I've literally not seen since they came here when they were kids.
Yeah.
And that was, I think I cried my eyes like a baby over that weekend.
And one thing it is good, really good to hear is that you do have emotion. From where we were talking earlier, the fact that you're emotional now does...
This place has helped me.
Yeah,
you know,
I can imagine.
I remember, you know, somebody was trying to blow some smoke up my... and I said to them, you know, with the greatest respect, you know, I've probably got more than the young people I've worked with over, I don't know, 35 years now.
Yeah.
Than I could ever give back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because,
can you go through the sort of where you started, Wire?
I'm going to give you a potted history.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so on the Waterside, you used to have a mission hall, which is where the Waterside Youth Club first started. And it was an old vicar just after the war, you know, because apparently there were loads of lads going around causing problems. Things don't change really over generations, but as long as you don't post it on Facebook. Sorry,
Yeah.
was that a little bit of a dig there? I don't think you know what I'm talking about, but there you go. You're not allowed to post about young people causing problems. Upsets the police.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's all right. Anyway, in the, I don't know, sort of like the 50s, they started raising money to build this place, and they were redeveloping the Waterside because there used to be a load of cottages. And so they got pulled down. This building was built, and it was Saltash Boys Club then.
Yeah.
Which is a history we're still really proud of, but...
So I actually played football here when it was the boys club, when I was really, really little. Yeah, so because when did it...
97.
97. Yeah, so it, you know, I was born...
In 1990, I was working... Well, I was doing some youth work in the Baptist church at the time, but I was also working at Carradon Housing Youth Project, which was a homeless project for young people. And I think I used to do one night a week at K2.
Did you?
Yeah, so I was kind of had my fingers in a few different pies. But the area youth worker said to me, there's a little youth club down on the Waterside, and if they don't get a few more volunteers, it's going to have to close. And I said, I'll go and have a look. And I'll be honest with you, I came in and I fell in love with the place. Even though there was nothing here, they had a knackered snooker table upstairs with a big crack in the slate, so the ball would kind of go like that. There was a telly in there that you couldn't get a signal on, so you couldn't watch TV. But
Yeah,
there was a
yeah.
telly in there. You know, and they had nothing, but I don't know, I fell in love with its heart, and I kind of never really left.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in 97, you know, the job came available to run the place, and I kind of chucked my name in the hat, and that was it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, why did you choose music?
Okay, so in my past, I've had some links. I'd had some links with music. When I took over running the place in 97, I just felt, rather than going, oh yeah, this is what young people want, and just doing whatever I thought was the right thing to do, I went out with a clipboard and some blank sheets of paper, and I don't know, I clambered over fences and behind bus shelters, trying to find groups of young people, and I was saying to them, okay, I've just taken over Boys Club, because it was still a Boys Club then.
Was it?
Yeah. And I know there's not a lot down there, but what would you want to see? What would you want to see down there? Music just kept coming back.
No way.
We got a bit of dosh out of Mick Jagger and Phil Collins just to get something.
How did that happen?
Just these things happen.
What, you bumped into them?
Yeah, just bumped into them. Walking down 4th Street.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, no, that's part two. Part two.
Do
you know what I mean? And it just kind of grew from there, really.
Yeah.
But we didn't really do, well, we did do stuff around mental health, because, you know, I'd sit and have chats with young people. I was
going to say, you've always,
young people.
You've always been, it's always been around.
Yeah.
They just didn't call it mental health then, did they?
No, you just...
Like, you literally, as soon as somebody signed up, the one thing that I remember and enjoyed the most was there was like all walks of life. And in, you had people with piercings and black hair and in spikes. And then you had a guy in a white tracksuit playing basketball.
Right.
But I was playing basketball with that person with the spikes, or I was playing pool against them,
But I think this, in some ways, though, is the power of music, because a lot of youth clubs attract a particular type of young person, and that's not being horrible or negative.
No,
but you'll get a peer group who will descend upon a youth project, and then it usually attracts similar.
It's
young
the same
people.
In adults with pubs.
Yeah. But I think because of the music, I think we cut through some of that. So you'd have your kind of people that are into metal, your people who are into this, your punks, your goths and all the rest of it. But we had our DJs.
You had the boys come across from Plymouth, get the bus across.
Yeah.
And they were like rapping. And
yeah, but I think because you've got different genres of music, you attract different genres of people. And I think the music just made it happen.
Yeah.
But, music, I have to say, is hugely good for your mental health because it gives you a chance to talk about. I mean, a little mini case study was, again, quite horrific, really, but years ago, we worked with a young man. I remember at the time, one of the volunteers was going past the studio and they came up to me and went, "Have you heard all the swearing coming from the studio?" And I said, "Don't worry, it's fine. It's cool." And they would go, "Well," I said, no, just trust me. Just leave it." What this young man was doing was, and he was into
projecting.
And he was just, and it was horrendous. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
of course.
That was his opportunity to try and put into words the most horrific experience you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, of course.
I nearly ended up getting into a fist fight with social services over it because after we'd finished working with the young man, social services said, "Oh, we need a copy of the CD he's done." And I said, "Well, that's his. Not mine to give you." And they said, "Oh, yeah, but, you have to with social services." And I said, "Well, I don't have to." And in the end, I had one of the heads of social services kind of on the phone threatening to get this place shut down over all of this. And I remember getting the phone and walking into the studio, and I'm there going, "Well, I'm going into the control room," and I fired the computer up in the studio and I found this young man's file and I right-clicked and deleted it. And I said, "Well, I just deleted it. So if you want a copy, then you need to get it off him because we haven't got it anymore." Put the phone down.
That's brilliant.
Well, I thought it was mildly heroic.
No, I was going to say that sort of vigilante.
Well, no, I just thought it's wrong. Do you know what I mean? The father was in prison. They didn't need evidence. They needed evidence. That would have been a different.
Well, yeah, and that, yeah, it's a
mean?
different sort of crime, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
But like the people you got in. So I remember Lee Whittock.
Yeah.
And he taught me guitar.
Yeah.
Taught me how to sing, and he wasn't even like a singer. Like he would record stuff for me to sing over the top of. And but there's been so many Tony.
Yeah.
And then he was in the local band afterwards.
Yeah. And he's at City College now teaching music.
It's incredible.
We've got a great team now, and it's a really diverse team.
How'd you pick them? Or do they find you?
A bit of a combination, really. I think we've got quite a cool vibe here. It's a nice vibe.
I'm extremely biased, to be honest, because I had such a... Yeah, you're extremely cool as well.
Well, I don't know about
you got a flavour saver.
A what?
A flavour saver.
Right. Oh, is that what that's called, is it?
Where is Livewire at now, and where are you at now?
Okay, so Livewire, I'll be honest, I think we're probably at a bit of a pivotal point, and I'm being really honest now. I'm getting old. In fact, I am old. I'm not getting old.
You don't look it, Andy.
I feel it. And I'm 63, and I obviously can't do this forever. But I have always said that they'll undoubtedly take me away in a coffin from this place.
Yeah, I get it.
Because
you've been through some real, tough health
Oh,
scares,
yeah.
haven't you?
Yeah.
And you keep coming back.
I know. I'm indestructible, mate.
I know.
But I think it was, I had my heart attack, 2.5 years ago, which was apparently a pretty epic one. It's a 3-dayer. I think the surgeon said to me, he said, an all weekend is supposed to be sex, drugs and effing rock and roll, not a heart attack. It started on Friday and I was saying, chest really hurts. And I said, it's probably just COVID.
Blame, everything was COVID.
So I just kind of ignored it on the Friday. And Saturday I was feeling really kind of weird. And I got my doctor on Facebook because his son used to come here. So I've kind of I've messaged him going, are these symptoms normal? And anyway, he's just phoned me.
Wow.
And he's gone, no, it's not. And you need
Great doctor.
And you need to get yourself into Derriford now. And I said, can I do it on Monday? Because he said, no. He said, you need to get in there now. So I've gone, okay, fine. Anyway, Monday morning, I'm on my way down here. The doctor's surgery phoned me up and said, Dr. So-and-so, I just wanted to know how you got on at Derriford on Saturday. But I said to them, well, I'm just going to drop Julie off down at Livewire and then I'm going to go into Derriford. And they said, no, can you come here now? So I went to the doctor's surgery and they did some tests on me and then they called out the paramedics who did some tests and they blue lighted me into Derriford and straight into the operating theatre.
No way.
Which was, I got blue lights. It was kind of cool, really. But yeah, that was weird because I really wasn't feeling terribly great. But then last year, I think it was last February, a different doctor put me on this lung cancer pathway because they thought I might have lung cancer. Because I've been coughing for years and years and stuff, which was really scary. And
I bet.
There's an advert on telly. I haven't seen it for a while, but this bloke walking around with a box and he's too scared to look in it. And it's this, if you're worried, you need to go and see your doctor sort of thing. But anyway.
Yeah.
So the doctor sent me off for all these tests and he said, you get the results back in 2 weeks. And anyway, and it took till, I think, November last year for me to get a bit of paper going, you don't have lung cancer. But by that stage, I was thinking, one of these days, the bullet's going to get me.
Like, I was thinking there's somebody who's never touched a drop of alcohol or a cigarette in their life. He's going to get hit by a bus.
I suppose the future for Livewire, and I suppose this is quite prevalent. Sure, what that word means, but it sounds
good.
It sounds like
good.
the right word. Sounds posh, doesn't it? But I can't do it all by myself anymore.
It's been your life, hasn't it?
Well, I've spent over half of my life here now.
So this is home, and
I can't even describe how much I like Livewire, if I'm really honest.
I think it shows.
I think if it was taken away from me, I'd die.
Yeah,
I just think I would just fade away, and that'd be my lot. Really.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
is there a time where it's been like close? Because
closed.
No, it's like close to been taken away from you.
We've had funding issues from time to time.
Yeah.
Cornwall Council. I don't want to be about Cornwall Council because I kind of get on all right with some of the folks there now.
Yeah.
But in 2014 austerity when that kicked in and the Tory government started cutting services and things. Livewire was the first project in Cornwall to have all of its funding cut by Cornwall Council, which probably could have sunk this place. And I'm going to give credit to one of our patrons, Pete Townsend from The Who dived in and helped us get through that period.
Was he in 4th Street as well?
He was just walking up 4th Street as well, with his guitar spinning around and stuff like that. But yeah, Livewire wouldn't have survived without Pete's intervention at that point. But I think as time, we're going to be putting some stuff out, hopefully on social media soon, to sort of see if there's anyone out there that's maybe got a few hours a week that would be willing to just help us with funding bits and things.
Yeah,
because if I'm honest, if I could just focus on the youth work, because that's the bit I love.
Yeah.
Sitting down with young people and talking to them, and I guess supporting them and stuff. That's the bit that that's the bit that puts the wind in my sails.
Yeah.
Sitting there writing funding bits when you're already tired.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And, and I just need some help.
Yeah.
Really.
No.
So that's, I'm not fearful for Livewire's future because I feel that this is a great model. I think it does support young people.
It really
does. In a
does.
genuine, honest kind of way.
Yeah, that's I think that's why it appeals so much to people and young people, because I can imagine with your laid back approach and how much you put the youth first, that must rustle a lot of feathers for some other people.
Yeah.
But it's always, I've never felt, even in my adult life, like I couldn't pop in.
I had a youth worker at the other end of Cornwall. And this is a great thing when you've been around forever.
Yeah.
I think, and I hope I'm not being arrogant saying this, but I think most people within youth work in Cornwall probably know me.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's other youth workers contacted me and said, so-and-so was slagging you off the other day. And they were saying, you only take people to these meet and greets because it's a jolly for you. And anyway, being autistic at age 8, I found out the phone number for this youth worker and I phoned her up and I said, I understand you've got a problem with Livewire and us taking young people to meet and greets. And they were like, oh, no, of course not. And I went, no, I understand you've got a problem with it. And I used the example of taking some young people to a Who gig and meeting the Who afterward. And I said there was a young man who, his parents rent a farm. He was doing music, studying, but he's had to leave all of that to work on the farm to try and keep the farm going, right? So that day he felt like a king. There was a young woman I took who had eating disorders and really didn't like herself. That day she felt like a queen. There was another young man who'd been home educated and really struggled to make friends and things. He felt like a king. That's why I take young people. I always used to say to people, we put your name in a hat and we pull it out, but we didn't. We'd go, okay, who's going to really benefit from this?
Yeah.
It wasn't a jolly for me because I was driving for flipping.
Yeah.
And it's hard work, to be honest, some of these meetings.
Well, yeah, and it's funny actually because when you're talking about meet and greets and the Who and you're talking about Pete Townsend, Phil Collins, I remember one time you tried arranging for a meet and greet with Elton John because I asked.
Yeah, probably.
And it just so happens that he doesn't do them.
No.
But whenever, it's just what a difference. And what I was like, yeah, I could have, Lemmy could have been any rock band. I was into all that.
I think one of the best ones, probably one of the coolest ones. Not that, I mean, I think the Who's pretty hard to beat coolness. Yeah. And I hope everyone saw Pete's shout out to us at the Eden Project, because that was, apart from the fact that I was sat having a trip to the number 2s. Well, when I came out of the toilet, I thought, I'm not going to go back down there because I can't hear the music. This is when the Who played at the Eden Project. And people kept coming out going, that was really amazing, Pete's shout out for you. And I went, what shout out? And I had to wait till the next morning to see a video of it.
No.
Anyway, but I took some young people to meet Blink-182.
Yes,
was,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to that one. Alex Shaw, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was great because, I mean, we had the only meet and greet on the US and European tour, Blink-182.
No way.
Because I kind of got to know Rick, the manager, really well. Tom DeLonge likes UFOs as well. Just chuck that in there. Just chuck that in the mix. They had this, so we met Tom DeLonge and Mark Hoppus, but who's the drummer?
Oh, Travis.
No,
Travis Barker's the one married to.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Well, we met the other two, and I thought that's what we're not going to meet the other one,
Yeah.
Sparker. And so I was just rounding up the young people, and we are going to just go off and get something to eat and then come back and watch the show. And so we're just heading off there, and the big black, obviously kind of American ex-Marine type, he's gone, stay there, fuckers. And I'm like, oh, okay. He said, just wait there. And anyway, we sort of waited for about 20 minutes, which seems like an awful long time when...
Yeah.
And then...
When you're being held against your will.
Then Travis Barker turned up with his kids. And the reason he wasn't there with the others is because he always has tea with his kids at 5 o'clock, wherever he is in the world. And I had a load of respect for him over that.
That's massive. That's so good.
Yeah, that was quite cool.
Yeah, there's so much to be said about that.
Yeah, although that was in Glasgow, which was a hell of a drive.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember
And it's Scotland, isn't it?
Well, we stayed in this hostel place in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And because you're not allowed to smoke in these places, are you?
No.
So I've kind of come all the way downstairs and gone out the front, about 12 o'clock, to have a rollie before going off to bed. And this group of young Glaswegian skinheads came up to me, and I think they were threatening me, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. And to be honest, I was crapping myself a little bit, because I thought, there's 4 or 5 of them. If they decide to just lay into me, I'm pretty well screwed, really. And so I reverted to, so there they go, oh, you're finding me really one of this sort of thing. And I'm going, I'm terribly sorry. I can't understand a word you're saying. And they go, hey, and I go, no, sorry, I still can't understand what you're saying. And I think they got so angry, they just left me.
You know what, Sodger? Yeah.
You know what? They went off to, I don't know, harass some, they look like Korean students that were...
You know self-defense as well.
Talking a posh accent, mate. Do you know what I mean? But that said, I remember when I first started working down there, some of the locals at the time called me the Cockney bastard that's killed the boys' club. That was mine. I had to endure that for about 5 years, and it kind of hurt a little bit, because I thought, I'm really working my arse off here.
Yeah.
And I think it was about, 5 years later, one of them went, oh, we call you the Cockney Cornish now. And I went, oh, you've dropped off the bastard. That's good. But it was, because when the rowing stopped happening here, some people got really arsey about that, but we had no choice, and I think it's worked out way better for the rowers in the sailing club now anyway.
Because you host events here now, like festivals almost.
Yeah.
That's another massive change.
Yeah.
Like that whole room, which used to be just 2 basketball hoops.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite an investment. There.
Yeah. Was that like a big push on Livewire fundraising stuff? Or was it?
We gradually built it up. We got a chunk of funding. I don't remember how long ago it would have been now when the venue first started operating as a music venue. But I think it was just over a year ago. And this is a bizarre story, but an old lady gave us 10 grand towards a new PA. Now, 10 grand sounds like a lot of money, except when you're buying PAs for venues. And you don't get a lot for 10 grand.
No.
But anyway. But then somebody else we know said, I've got a contact at Electra Voice. Let me have a word with them. And, then we've had a meeting, and Electra Voice basically offered us a £60,000 line array, which is one to hang from the roof. With 30% discount. Because they give us it wasn't 30. It was 60% discount, because it was 2 lots of 30. They give resellers a 30% discount. They gave us an extra one because we're a charity. But it all worked out that with the 10 grand from the old lady, we had a gap of 15 grand. And I thought, okay, this isn't, we're getting there with this.
Third of the way.
Yeah. So I emailed and I said to him, listen, geezer, this is what we got. This is what we'd like. And this is the gap in the middle. And if you were possibly able to help in some way fill some of that gap in the middle, so I didn't want to go, give us 15 grand.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? Because I like to be with. But he came back and paid it, which was great. So we got the new PA. And the guy that installed it, he reckons we've probably got one of the best sort of PAs and venues in the Southwest. One of.
How can we help you?
Okay, well,
Not personally.
not personally. Okay, well, we're always very grateful for any donations, obviously. But, I mean, if there's people out there, if there's anyone retired out there that's got, I don't know, experience of writing bids and things like that, we desperately need help with fundraising. We desperately need help with fundraising. What we don't need are people going, oh, why don't you do a jumble sale in the venue there? Well, to be honest, I might as well take 40 quid out of my own pocket, shove it in there and have a day off. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, there's always opportunities for volunteering as well. You know, but just, I don't know, spreading the news. You know, telling people what we do. You know, go and check out our website.
Just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you got any events coming up?
We've just had, once a year we do Metal to the Masses, which is a very loud, metally, obviously, kind of battle of the bands. It's for all ages, so it's not just young people. And the winner gets to play at Bloodstock Festival.
Nice.
But we also, and we haven't confirmed it this year, but I know for the last 14 years, we've taken, I don't know, tons and tons of young people down to perform at Boardmasters, around about 100 each year.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, there's a good few thousand have been down there performing. Last year, we got invited to send some young bands over to Port Elliot, Tunes in the Park. That was good. So we had a little stage in the church, which was really kind of weird and cool.
That sounds,
you know what I mean? So hopefully we'll be doing that again this year. And, you know, we've got our local regatta and the Mayfair and things. We tend not to, I don't know, do stalls and things.
It doesn't fit, does it?
No.
Let's be honest.
No.
You'd be doing it for doing its sake.
Yeah.
And there's other ways.
Yeah.
But
I always think if we've got young people performing in Longstone Park or over on Jubilee Green, you know, they're the face of Livewire.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
You know?
I got told off for swearing. When we were just outside Livewire, and I got a bit too into the music, and I swore, and apparently there was some. You had to tell me off.
I didn't tell you off, did I?
Yeah, there was complaints.
Oh, mate.
Well, Andy, thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. I wish you nothing but a chilled, relaxed, catch up on rest at some point.
One day.
Have you got any final messages?
I'd just really like to thank all the people that do support us out there, and those that don't support us or don't get us, talk to us.
Yeah.
Because we're always happy to talk to anyone. And that's it, really. Just kind of be cool to each other, be cool to yourself. And, you know, let's all try and make this world just a little tiny bit nicer.
Thank you. And also, thank you for putting your life's work, or half your life's work, into this place, because just from my own experience, I cannot thank you enough.
But maybe the harsh reality is I'm so crap that I can't get another job. I wouldn't want to work anywhere else in the world.
So there we have it, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I have. Please keep sharing, keep talking, and that's it. Cheers. Well done.